Hi there, welcome to Tarot Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Capricorn energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Capricorn energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn energy, because we all have our dualistic nature of free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And there might be a part of us that would like to move forward in life differently, or we are moving forward in life differently. But we can be tempted. The bottom row can just represent that we'd like to stay in our comfort zone or go back to our comfort zone. Because to move forward in life differently, you have to put new habits into practice. You have to keep overcoming like your fears or your insecurities or self-limiting beliefs. Wow. And we have a lot of cards here in the bottom row that are not showing themselves. So maybe if we were to keep staying in our comfort zone, and some people who are staying in their comfort zone, it might require people to kind of hide their truth or not see the truth, because the truth sets us free to live our life differently. The reason for the bottom row's reading is success in love. So we could be more tempted because we could love a certain way of living life, certain things we like to indulge in, people. But the reason for the top row's reading coming out is because of the routine card. Kind of like nothing ever changes, and high vibe energy is about being inspired, to give birth to something new. I want to do things different. Let's try something new. Let's step out of our comfort zone. And we could have been in some type of situations in our life where we could love that job, we could love those people, but they don't want to give birth to anything new. And so then it's this confusion. Do I leave this job, this friendship, this relationship, to maybe go look for a different job, some different friends to hang out with, a different romantic relationship? So let's go look at the top row. And sometimes, well, let's just continue on. Okay, so we have mature man, and we have a card not showing itself, and it's the family room, which can talk about things going on behind the scenes. And a lot of times this card and the other like Kipper deck shows an emotional figure coming out from behind the walls, and the emotional figures can represent how we think and feel. The masculine energies can represent how we're presenting ourselves in the world. And emotionally, there might still be some things we're working through. Well, then we got another card not showing itself, and it's a star card, which can talk about that we have a dream. And then we have the chariot, or the change card, which is like the chariot card, moving forward. The hammer, fire sign energy of kind of being inspired. To the cross card, to keep having hope and faith and belief in our dreams. And when we move forward in life differently, there could have been emotionally, there could have been some dream that we had that we wanted to come into reality, and we had to let go of that old dream. Because if we're moving forward in life differently, and the mature man could kind of be like the King of Pentacles. We've learned lessons in life, and based on the lessons that we've learned, I can love people and know my dream can't come into reality with them. Because if they like to keep repeating this old pattern, which can be just a way of viewing life, or you could look at the success and love card, like a Two of Cups card. What am I aligned with within myself? What is my truth? What do I love? Some people love being more about themselves, more about the world, living life a certain way, and they never want to step out of their comfort zone. Or if they're aligned with their more ego nature, materialistic nature, staying in their comfort zone, they're emotionally happy, maybe living their life like that. And other people have seen the truth. I'm not happy living my life like that. So we have different dreams. And maybe over time, with the family room talking about things that go on kind of behind closed doors, and maybe emotionally people kind of more revealing kind of what drives and motivates them. Capricorn energy overall can be about what we view as victorious and successful. And, some people are more about themselves, more about the world, or these things they like to indulge in. Other people are more motivated by love or to heal and grow and mature themselves. Other people maybe aren't. Some people, it's more about looking like a shining star in the world, or liking to be in relationships where it's more about them and people are kind of indulging them maybe in their ego, and they're not interested in maybe getting out of their ego. And we would have liked to have had a dream come into reality with them. But the change card and the chariot card and the fire sign energy card can mean that we're kind of more motivated and inspired to be in more emotionally balanced relationships based on being inspired by love. Some people are happy being in a relationship and moving forward in a relationship and indulging in the relationship, but it really isn't. I'm kind of looking at the cross card as like high vibe Taurus energy, where people really kind of walk the talk, and high vibe mature people are really who they say they are. And the success and love card also kind of reminds me of Pisces energy. We like to indulge in love, we like to be in love, we like the idea of love. And we can invest in those things. And some people, it can be about creating an illusion. I want to invest in this. This will make me look like I've moved on, make me look victorious and successful, look like I'm someone who walks the talk, that I really am who I say I am. But then as time goes by in a relationship, people kind of see through the illusion that some people really aren't in it because of love. It is more that we should stay in it for these reasons, and this looks victorious and successful, and I like being in a relationship or having a job. You like being in a relationship or being employed here. We should keep doing this. It looks good by worldly standards. You could look at the cross kind of almost like the star card, that it looks like we're walking the talk. It looks like, we're these pillars of society. We have what other people in the world aspire to, and like what some people in the world have. But again, some people are just creating the illusion that they're motivated and inspired by love, but they're really not. And over time, you kind of realize it is maybe more about creating this illusion. But nothing ever changes. The relationship doesn't grow and mature and deepen over time. It really isn't more motivated authentically by love. It's like, I like being in a relationship. I love indulging in a relationship. I like how it provides me maybe stability or security and makes me look like I'm this more stable, victorious, successful person in some way. And the other people realize it's not really because of love. And some people will stay in it maybe because they feel like they made a commitment, is what the cross card maybe could talk about. But so long as there is love there, and if people are willing to work together cooperatively from love, that's one thing. It's another thing. The masculine cards don't have to refer to a man, because Again, when we go present ourselves in the world, is considered masculine energy, and the feminine figures refer to the truth of who we really are and how we really think and feel. So some people present themselves in the world as if they're motivated by love, like some old cycle is over and they're ready to have a new beginning. But that really might not be the truth. Other people they could have been in a relationship could have moved on from them, and they really are operating more from their ego secretly, but they want to look like, I've moved on too. Look, I look like, because the Chariot card can talk about victoriously and successfully, and the Chariot card is Cancer energy about love and home and family. Look, I'm in a loving relationship too. But are they really motivated and inspired by love, or do they just get in relationships with people who are motivated and inspired by love? So then they look like they're that type of person too. Do they get in relationships with people who harness high vibe Taurus energy, regardless of what zodiac sign they are, who really kind of walk the talk and are inspired by love? And then they try to get those people in a relationship with them, but they really have no intention of stepping outside their comfort zone. And a high vibe person kind of gets trapped in a relationship with someone who just created an illusion they were willing to give birth to something new. But they're not. They want to keep, because we all repeat a certain pattern until we have been illuminated to the truth, and then the truth sets us free, where we do give birth to something new. How we think, how we feel. We're not the same person we were before. We view life differently. We've grown, we've healed, we've matured, we put things in perspective. We've gotten out of our illusions about being more about ourselves or more about the world or our ego. It's not to get in a relationship for these certain reasons. It's to get in it because of love. And eventually some high vibe people could feel like this isn't aligned with their truth. And that some of the people in their life really are inspired by something other than love. And then it's for those people, kind of the mature man, I'm viewing it like the King of Pentacles. When you are holding the one pentacle in high vibe, it means that you're taking action in the world in truth and love. And some people who are taking action in truth and love have some mismatched relationships in their life. The high vibe people have detached from an old dream, being more about themselves, more about the world, a past relationship, and they really are motivated to move forward in a relationship. But some people in their life are harnessing this energy in a more shadowy way. And if we were to look at that as the King of Pentacles, I view the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy. Anybody can present themselves, I'm stable, I'm grounded, I'm emotionally mature, I've moved on from that past relationship, I'm not egotistical, I'm not self-centered, I'm not bossy, I'm not controlling, I'm not more about ego and image, but they are. They just wear a good false mask. And some people are in these kind of mismatched relationships. And the high vibe people are starting to realize, I don't think my dream is going to come into reality here. At which point, some of those people might decide to speak their truth. Because, again, when in our own taking action in the world, it's considered masculine energy, and bringing something into the 3D world and speaking our truth, offering truth and love to the people in our life. This is how I want to move forward. Is that your truth or is it not? And if the other people, again, keep trying to create this illusion, but the other people keep seeing nothing ever changes, eventually the high vibe people might say, I'm moving on. I don't see the dream coming into reality. And out of love for myself and being inspired to walk the talk, I am going to get out of my ego of thinking I can change people If you were motivated and inspired to live your life like that, you would. And I've been trying to offer love and encouragement and be just and fair, because High Vibe Chariot is about being balanced, which could be about being just and fair. I'm trying to be just and fair and inspiring and loving and walk the talk, and you kind of keep staying back here. And part of it can be because they're hiding emotionally that really isn't their dream. That isn't how they view life. That's not their truth. And do we listen to our intuition about it, or do we not? And eventually high vibe people listen to their intuition. You know, it's kind of Judgment Day with the cross. Today is the last day I tell you my truth of how I want to move forward. And if my intuition tells me that you are not being authentic, you're not really operating from an emotionally wanting to move forward in a more emotionally balanced, inspired by truth and love, then I am going to distance myself from you. And some people have already done that, and they're doing this work within themselves to love themselves and keep walking the talk. It can seem routine, like nothing is changing, but you know, it's kind of like the divine is working with everyone else in the world to line up the people who are more on the same page as you, but some of those people are in mismatched, you know, like say you want a different job and you're going out there and applying for different jobs, but the employers might have someone who's not really working cooperatively with them. Well, when are they going to listen to the truth and let go of that person so that other people can apply for that job? And, you know, it's kind of like the same thing happens in friendships and relationships. When are other people going to get out of those friendships or relationships with people who maybe are trying to... High vibe energy is about being truthful and authentic and just and fair. Otherwise, we're kind of caught up in the illusion, not wanting to see the truth, keep trying to make it work but we don't want to see the truth, because then it means we have to take action in truth and maybe bring down the hammer on some people. And so we don't. And so while some people are moving forward with the people in their life who are working together with them in truth and love and putting work and effort into, you know, of course, tarot a lot of times is about love. If there's not someone in my life who seems to be on the right page for me to be in a romantic interest, I have other things that are part of my dream. That's a part of my dream. But I can put work and effort into my career field, into... my friends, my family, expanding my perception of myself, working on my own unique talent, skills, and interests, and how I view life, and expanding my perception of the world. You know, being in a relationship is just one aspect of a romantic relationship. And some people can be in a romantic relationship or could be getting in one. Could have made an offer to someone. Some people could be you could have made offers. Other people could be planning to make an offer to you. And everybody, with anybody they meet and the people that they're in relationships with, high vibe people want to know the truth of what drives and motivates people. So as you're moving forward, meeting people, as you're making offers to people, as people might be making offers to you, to get to know you more, if that's in workplaces, friendships, or whatever, community, high vibe people are going to keep maintaining balance within themselves from a place of love, continuing to offer truth and love and inspiration to other people in their world, and listening to their intuition, keeping things in perspective, not getting all caught up in their head, not getting caught up in illusion, not being manipulated by their more worldly, egoic, lustful, greedy nature. I'm going to keep walking the talk, and I believe that the divine has a plan for my life. And while the divine is trying to help other people listen to their intuition, but they've got free will to ignore it, they have free will to try to manipulate people. If you're not being truthful and honest, you're trying to manipulate people. And, you know, as you're moving forward, there could be people wondering if you're being manipulative. Do they listen to their intuition? As you're moving forward, you're listening to your intuition about other people. And there's some people who are in shadowy energy, and I think they try to hide from the world that they do harness these energies in a more shadowy way. But they want people to view them as this, like, emotionally stable, balanced pillar of society who walks the talk, so that people will keep moving forward with them in a relationship, be their friend, hire them for a job, go into business with them, promote them, whatever. But they hide from the world that they've probably already had high vibe people in their life, and those people left and moved on. Because they have these illusions about love, or they're really more driven and motivated to want to repeat some old pattern, or they're more egotistical, more self-centered, more self-indulgent, like to indulge in things of the world, thinking that's the answer to them having this certain status or image or looking victorious in the world or making their life more about money and materialism. But they don't want people to know that. So let's go look. And if you've had, say, a job even where, you know, some people, you went to go apply for a job, and those people like, oh yes, you should come work for us, and, you know, we're these encouraging, supportive people, lots of room for advancement here or whatever, and work with people cooperatively, and then you take the job, and you were hopefully in that kind of energy, and then you find out that that's not the truth. That either your supervisor or some of the people you're working with are people who create this illusion, so people will come take that job, but they never grow and mature themselves. They never look at life from a higher perspective. They could be manipulative, prideful, egotistical, full of themselves, right? So we have short illness, despair, mature woman, expectation, crossroads, fish, dice, tower, and the devil. So, these cards can talk about that we all can have fears and insecurities and past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs that kind of manipulate us, that kind of cause us to emotionally turn our back on emotionally growing and maturing ourselves. The mature woman would be a counterpart to a King of Pentacles. But if we really haven't emotionally grown and matured ourselves and healed from some past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, some people have this illusion that they can just go out there in the world operating more from their ego. Like, I don't have to deal with that stuff. I know. I have an idea. I think maybe emotionally in the expectation card, I don't want to listen to my intuition, which could be telling me to emotionally invest time, energy, and effort into working through these things. But instead, some people don't realize they really would benefit from working through those things. And instead, they have this illusion, the fish card, Pisces energy, that I can just take a risk to maybe thinking if I just go get in a new relationship, or I go get a new job, or go get a new friend, or whatever, that will be the answer to my problems, because the tower is trying to detach from something that has a hold on them. But as long as those things still have a hold on them, if that's their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego, their past pain and heartbreak, or they really love someone else and they haven't done the work to kind of see the truth of it. There could be someone who isn't in their life right now because they maybe got some of their own issues to deal with. And they keep hoping that one day that person will listen to their intuition and love themselves to free themselves from what manipulates them. The devil talks about what manipulates us. And we can all kind of stay stuck, kind of what the routine card is making me think of now, hoping other people will work through what manipulates them to detach from it, and that they'll decide to make us an offer. And then, they've gotten out of their fear, their insecurity, their more worldly view of life, their ego, their self-centeredness, their defensiveness, whatever. Because probably, why aren't we all being more emotionally mature and loving and nurturing? Probably because we've had some experiences in our life that still manipulate us. And until we're like a good mother, father to ourselves, and give ourselves kind of the things that we wish other people would have given us, like people can be unjust, unfair, unkind, hurtful, not healed, right? Well, if we were to harness some more high vibrational energy of truth and love, I accept that there's some people in my life that haven't offered them self-love and maybe don't want to invest. The Pentacles talk about investing time, energy, and effort to work through those things. High vibe energy is about being a good leader in the world and being a good example in a way, kind of walking the talk. So sometimes the best thing we can do is that I have no idea if someone will ever make the free will decision to work through emotionally those things that manipulate them. And it could be other people in their life. They could have friends or family members that, don't want them to listen to their intuition. The dice card is fire sign energy, like the hammer, to be inspired to free themselves from things that manipulate them. Because we all have people in our life. We have our dualistic nature. We have our more hopeful, believing, loving, creative, inspired nature. We have our more immature, codependent, lustful, greedy, self-indulgent nature, right? And we have different people in our life that we hang out with. And we can all have people in our life who don't want us to free ourselves from things that manipulate us, because then we won't be hanging out with them anymore, maybe. And if we were to listen to our intuition and kind of get inspired to love and believe in ourselves and free ourselves from some things that manipulate us, then maybe we wouldn't keep investing in them, But they could be someone we're married to. It could be someone we thought we wanted to marry. It could be our parents. It could be our siblings. It could be our friends, Sometimes people like to play this role in our life, like, I like you to view me as this emotionally nurturing, loving person in your life. Whether I'm your friend, I'm your sibling, whatever. But I kind of like you staying in this energy because it makes me feel like I'm this loving, nurturing person. But I don't ever want you to get out of that energy and start loving yourself and believing in yourself and being inspired to free yourself from things that manipulate you, because I don't plan to do any of that. So you have to stay right here. And that's how some people like to be in a relationship. And some people create an illusion, I'm willing to move forward in life differently, but really this is what I want. This is my idea of the dream relationship. I want you to get in a relationship with me, believe that I am who I say I am, believe that I will change, believe that I'll deal with my issues or my fears or letting these things manipulate me. And you keep staying here hoping. You keep staying loving and encouraging. I'll keep staying in these energies. You keep hoping one day I'll change. And basically the devil has us both trapped in an imbalanced relationship. Because love is supposed to be just and fair, and part of the cycle of life is that we kind of heal and grow and mature ourselves. And if some people don't want to heal and grow and mature themselves, but they like to play this role in people's life, you should be more codependent on me. Don't love and believe in yourself, because then it would get to be a more equal give and take relationship. I like it where you're like the child and I'm like the parent, or I'm like the boss and you're like the employee. Even in needless, if they're the boss and you're the employee, it would be that kind of dynamic. But it's the same way some people can hire you for a job. Maybe some other job didn't work out and you're kind of sad, but you want to move forward in a more balanced relationship. But then you go get a job somewhere else, and those people are like, well, no, I just create that illusion, but I am kind of maybe have these illusions that I'm this loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging person who helps people move forward in life more victoriously. But really, I'm kind of more about myself. And I like to have people who work for me who never really love and believe in themselves and are never going to leave and let me be kind of bossy and controlling of them. And then we can get in romantic relationships with people who are the same way. How about you keep staying in expectation? Always hoping that one day I'll change. And as long as you keep buying into the illusion that one day I'll change, you're not giving birth to living your authentic life. You're not in relationships with people who treat you in a more just and fair and balanced and loving, authentic way. And the devil has two people trapped. Because one person, so, the whole thing is, if you get in a relationship with someone and they have things within themselves or people in their life or the world at large that manipulates them, well, we got to act like this and we got to wear this and we got to talk to those people and not those people. And, it's all these like hidden rules and regulations of how you're supposed to live your life. High vibe energy is about being free to live your authentic life. How about I go out in the world being motivated and inspired by truth and love to treat other people the way I want to treat me. And I don't make it so important. I'm going to be a normal human being who cares about myself, but it's not all this emphasis on what I wear or what I look like or what I drive or how much money I make. And, I can't talk to those people. They're not in that kind of social class. And I can only talk to these people. And, I have lessons learned from everybody in the world. And, there can be people that are completely living their life differently than me that I could have a lot in common with, that really could change my life and I could change their life, so long as people treat me in a just and fair way and they're respectful and they're loving and encouraging. I don't really care what they wear, what they drive, what they look like, what their status is. And other people are like, oh no, we can't do that. We have to maintain a certain image in the world. And it's like, well, how about you go find someone to live your life like with that and abide by all these rules that apparently you have. Because I do view the Queen of Pentacles also as Taurus energy. And we're either in our Taurus energy more caught up in the world and image and status and money and materialism than really walking the talk. And high vibe Taurus is being like a spiritual leader in the world. In our fire sign energy, we can all be more motivated by the world. High vibe fire energy is being, again, a leader in the world. Being authentic, walking the talk based on the lessons that you've learned in life, instead of indulging in your more immature worldly nature, trying to control people, maybe trying to tempt people more with things of the world than love and truth. And some people haven't healed from some past pain and heartbreak, and I think we can be drawn and attracted to certain people in the world Because if those things are still manipulating us, and it could be someone from childhood, it could be our certain traits and characteristics of our parents. You know, we've had people in our life that we wish were more emotionally balanced and inspired by love. And everybody's got their issues, so some of those people weren't as just and fair or authentic or warm or loving and encouraging as we wish they would have been. And they had their own issues that manipulated them. And if we are willing to offer love, Pisces and Cancer energies about offering love to the situation. And I'm not going to let some people that maybe hadn't freed themselves from things that manipulated them keep manipulating me. Because then I could be drawn and attracted to... It's kind of like being in our ego, where we'll go get in a relationship with someone who kind of reminds us, has some of the similar traits and characteristics of people that we had wanted to have love us at one point in time in our life. Because now that we can get in a relationship with them, not the original person, but someone who has those same traits and characteristics, it's like, well, now that I can be in a romantic relationship with someone and they see how just and fair and loving and encouraging I am, I'm sure they'll choose love. But people don't. If they were a more just and fair and emotionally balanced and motivated by love type of person, they would be. But it's kind of us being caught up in the illusion that if I just love people and I'm just and fair and loving and encouraging, they'll love me. They'll free themselves. They won't be bossy or controlling or cold or detached or caught up in their addiction or whatever, like some other people I knew in my life. They'll love me. And the thing is, we need to get out of our illusions and our ego. It's good to offer people truth and love and encouragement. But when we see the truth, that some people emotionally have these things that manipulate them, and that's why they're not more emotionally balanced, inspired by truth and love, because they still have the things that manipulate them. And we offer love to it, and I wish you peace, but I'm going to kind of keep my distance from people who still are defensive, toxic, addicted, selfish, greedy, whatever, you know? And I'm going to move away from them and believe that, you know, I'm not meant to repeat that old pattern, because I already saw the truth that I didn't like that type of foundation. And I've already seen that I don't like being in relationships with people who have some more shadowy or even just manipulative ways of being. I want to be in relationships with people who want to work together with me cooperatively from love. And there's just some people, just like some of you, if you think back on it, about, you know, we come in contact with all these different people in the world to try to help us get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And maybe some people had more life experience or came into people where they kind of repeated some of these patterns, and it was just like, oh my God, I have to stop this. This is not a good way to live my life or think or feel about myself, or getting in relationships or living my life like this. And the high vibe people did this work within themselves to move forward. Now, some of you could have been in relationships with people who you saw the truth of who they were and it wasn't who they presented themselves as being. Well, then you are like the devil, because you saw the truth. And they didn't like that, because they do have a certain image and status that they try to present themselves and confuse and manipulate the world about the truth of who they are. And when you saw the truth of who they were and you moved away from them, and for some of the people who might be moving away from some people right now, some of those people are going, and some of those people did. They were inspired to try to tear you down because you represent, it's kind of like if you're someone who's more worldly or ego or manipulative, if you meet someone who isn't in that energy, basically like they're the devil, they're on the opposing team. The devil can be about challenging our belief systems. And some people that are more bossy, controlling, immature, prideful, egotistical, but they try to present themselves as more loving. If the loving people in their life kind of see through the illusion of who they are, some of those people want to try to bring you down, to try to, and maybe do things that are very hurtful and unkind and unjust and unfair. Like, how dare you question my authority? And then they do these hurtful and unkind things. That's kind of like shadowy fire sign energy. I write the story of your life. I'm the boss. And that anybody can harness. I am the truth. You are not the truth. And I will do these shadowy things to try to hurt you and control you and manipulate you to make you either stop loving and believing in yourself, because your philosophy of life contradicts with my philosophy of life. I consider that philosophy of life dangerous or bad or whatever, right? So you're like the devil. So they try to bring you down. And if you won't let go of your philosophy of how you live your life, then they don't want you around anyway. But they might try to tear you down, try to confuse people about the truth of who you are, hoping if they do these hurtful, unkind, unjust, unfair things, that you'll go drive your life off into the ditch. And then by default, they look like the more emotionally stable, grounded, pillar of society person. It's like trying to steal from you. And for some people, that is their pattern. If people won't indulge me in my pride and ego when I try to present this illusion about who I am in the world, when those people are being truthful and authentic and loving, and they see I'm not, they saw that I don't operate from a foundation of truth and love, and that I was hiding, I'm bossy and controlling or selfish or egotistical or whatever, I'm going to try to bring those other people down, and then I can steal from them. Hopefully I'll hurt them enough that they quit loving and believing in themselves. Hopefully they end up in toxic energy, and then I can move forward like I'm the victorious and successful person. But as high vibe people are like, no, I see the truth of who you are. And I have learned a valuable life lesson from people like you. That you are not who I thought you were. I thought you did look at life from a higher perspective. I thought you were a more emotionally stable, grounded, loving person. And I found out that's not your truth. And I'm going to keep investing in maintaining balance within myself from love. I'm going to detach from the people in my life who I think work for the opposing team, who view me as a challenge to their belief system. That's fine. You go do your life based on how you view life. I'm going to keep being inspired to walk my truth, and you can go walk your truth. And some of the shadowy people could be hiding. They could even be sad. Like, damn, I wasn't able to manipulate a loving person to stay trapped in a relationship with me. So now they're trying to think, and that person did love and believe in themselves, to detach from them and move away. Of course, they don't want people to know that the reason those people moved on from them is because they were being manipulative, or love really isn't their thing. They really are more about like playing this role, but they want people to keep staying sad. And if people heal and grow and mature themselves, well, then I don't like you anymore. I'm going to go find someone else because it makes me feel like I'm this loving, nurturing person. I just don't really authentically, if people free themselves from what manipulates them, where then it challenges me to grow and heal and mature myself, no, I'm not doing that. I'll just go play this role in someone else's life for some of them. For others, they could be trying to move forward with someone new, but they haven't healed from their past pain and heartbreak, and they really are kind of drawn and attracted to someone else who could remind them of people from their past that they have unresolved issues from. They might move forward in a different relationship if they were to put in work and effort to heal and grow and see through the past pain and heartbreak. They could free themselves. But they'd have to be willing to see the truth, because the truth sets them free. And some, they're just repeating a pattern, like kind of waiting for someone who really is a person they could get in a relationship with that would kind of force them to deal with these issues that they don't want to deal with. But they might kind of indulge in a relationship with someone in the meantime. But if that's not really their truth, and I say that because Aquarius energy is also air sign energy about what our truth is. This really isn't my truth. This isn't really how I want to live my life. It might be good and look great and have a lot of good things to it. I just haven't healed. And so I can only kind of create the facade that that's my truth. And I really won't give birth to anything new because I haven't freed myself from these issues. And if someone who reminds me of some people that I have issues with, I might be drawn and attracted to get in a relationship. I'm hiding that there is someone else that I feel I'm more drawn and attracted to. And I think we're drawn and attracted to certain people because it's trying to free us from something maybe buried. Pisces energy can talk about things kind of buried in our subconscious that is manipulating us from living our more authentic life. And so we'll kind of be drawn and attracted to people to work through those issues. And then if we don't stay in a more toxic relationship and we're willing to learn the lesson we were meant to learn from it, then we can finally let that go and we move on. And there maybe could be some people in the world who, it's kind of like God uses everyone for God's good purposes. And even the shadowy, abusive people in the world, hey, everybody's got free will. Shadowy people who are playing that role in the world, people are going to be drawn and attracted to them. They have these things of the world that people are attracted to. Look, social clout, money, charming, status, funny, whatever they got going on, right? But it is kind of maybe a little more superficial. It looks good, but it isn't. They don't really operate from a foundation of love. Well, those people serve a purpose in the world for other people to get in a relationship with, to kind of sort the sheep from the goats. What's your truth? Is this your truth? Okay, well, you got free will to live your life like that. There's shadowy people in the world. You can stay in an unstable, toxic, codependent, whatever, materialistic, if that's what you want to manifest. You have free will, live your life. But if you want to get your divine inheritance, maybe the routine card now is starting to make me think of Virgo energy. Virgo energy that we can all tap into is taking slow, steady steps every day. You might take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. It takes work and effort and you also have to learn these lessons to be ready to be given your divine inheritance. Because if you haven't learned these lessons in life, well, you could have it taken away from you if you haven't learned that there's deceptive, manipulative, prideful, egotistical, and if you haven't healed from your issues that manipulate you, that could tempt you by those types of things and people, then it would be taken away from you. So until you're ready and you're doing the work, sometimes in tarot you hear people say like something like chopping wood, it's like doing the work. You keep doing the work. And it's kind of like, I heard somebody say about how fire is like the transformative element. In tarot we have the water and the air and the fire and the world. But fire can transmute those things, and fire can represent our more creative, inspired, intuitive nature. But like fire can burn paper, fire can melt gold into liquid, fire can make water boil, And so when people are in high vibe energy, it does really kind of rattle some people who aren't in that energy, because it does challenge them in their belief systems of what they think would make them happy. High vibe people are moving forward victoriously, inspired by truth and love, working together with other people who inspire them in turn to love and believe in themselves, believe in their dreams. And, high vibe people go enjoy things of the world too. They just don't make those things so important in their life. They can enjoy things in moderation. High vibe energy, again, is about balance, that I don't look to those things to be the answer to my problems, because I've already probably overindulged in those things at one time, and I realized it kind of put me in hell. So I have learned to offer love, be a good mother to myself, offer love and encouragement to myself to keep believing in my dreams and keep being inspired to work through things that manipulate me, because I have learned that if I go indulge in those things too much in an imbalanced way, indulging poor behavior in myself or others, that's going to kind of drive my life off into the ditch. I need to take stable, grounded action, even though emotionally I could be a very loving, nurturing person who really likes to help other people, but I can only offer love and encouragement. And then I stay over here in this energy until other people do this work to free themselves. And if those people free themselves, and they've kind of gotten out of their more worldly, egoic, being more tempted by things of the world, and have seen how those things imprison and enslave them, well, if those people see the truth, and people I meet as I'm moving forward, and people who might approach me, if we both have been illuminated to the truth, then those are the people I'm going to move forward with, because they're not looking to be in a more codependent, toxic, superficial, shallow relationship. So what is coming up for people who harness some high vibe Capricorn energy? And shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. So, and I view the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy. When we have freed ourselves and learned to love ourselves, get balance between our emotional nature and our more worldly, egoic nature, and be more balanced within ourselves, then we take who we say we are in the world is truly who we say we are. We're not trying to confuse people about the truth. We have learned these lessons. We have done the work and effort to free ourselves from past pain and heartbreak, our more immature, indulgent nature, to move forward in more of an emotionally balanced, truthful, authentic, loving way, treating other people the way we like to be treated. And other people are still thinking, don't you just create the illusion of being that? Isn't that good enough? It's like, well, you're going to go find out if it's good enough. And for some of the people that tried to tear you down, now those people, because you keep moving forward it kind of, some of those people played the victim. Oh, poor, poor, pitiful me. I wanted to work on that, and I was being supportive and encouraging. Those people were awful or whatever. And other people kind of see through the illusion that someone isn't who they try to present themselves as being, just by virtue of how the other people are moving forward. The other people are moving forward in an emotionally balanced, putting in work and effort to move on, inspired by truth and love. And they kind of see that these people keep trying to manipulate people and indulge themselves in relationships, and other people get in relationships with them. They're still not willing to detach from their more immature, bossy, or controlling, or whatever ways of being. And those relationships don't work. And then they go repeat it again. And eventually, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And how other people are moving forward kind of speaks for itself. But they thought, maybe if I do all these things and I act in all these ways, it'll make those people drive their life off into the ditch, and I'll just look like I'm that type of person. And nobody will see the truth that I was the hurtful, unkind, unjust, unfair person. But for some of them, their plan didn't work out. And it's revealing the truth, because the high vibe people did this work within themselves to free themselves and keep moving on. And then it kind of shows the truth of who people are. What's coming up for the high vibe people? The Ace of Swords and the Chariot. Why? Because of the Ten of Cups. As you keep loving yourself and not staying in illusion about people, if people were motivated to invest in you, to move forward in this way, if they're not authentically, in their own friendships, relationships, and jobs and things, in that energy, because not everybody who doesn't want to be our friend or date us is in shadowy energy. Some of the people that we could go approach, they're like, oh, sorry, I wish you peace and love, but I'm already moving forward in emotionally balanced, loving relationships. I could be tempted, but I don't want to act in my shadowy nature, and high vibe people don't want people to come be in a relationship with them out of shadowy energy. It's like, oh no, you go, keep moving forward with what you're in. But high vibe people are seeing the truth. Who are the people in my life who are just, fair, inspired by truth and love? Those are people that I might meet. They're already in those kind of relationships. Wonderful. Happy for you. I'm going to keep moving forward, finding people who are more on the same page as me. And if you're in relationships, getting in relationships, got a new job, whatever, the people who you're no longer indulging, for some of them, they're seeing the truth that all the tactics that they tried to use to keep focused on them, maybe because they knew you had love for them and they tried to use your love against you to manipulate you. Some of those people are starting to see the truth that you're not manipulated, because you keep moving forward in an emotionally balanced, loving way. And they're also seeing the truth that they can't come and manipulate you. Just energetically, you maintaining balance within yourself kind of keeps them away. They secretly might want to be in a relationship with you again, because if you're a loving, nurturing, encouraging person, yeah, but they wanted you to quit loving and believing in yourself so they could indulge in a relationship with you. And some of those people are starting to see that you're not willing to settle for that old dream. If it's not authentic and truthful and loving, then I don't have an interest. And they're like, shit. They got out of letting their more loving nature tip them out of balance to indulge me, because the devil wants to be indulged, right? Oh, but you're loving and you love me. And it's like, yeah, I do. And love is supposed to be just and fair. And you're not just and fair. So I'm letting go of you. And I'm moving forward with the people in my life who are. So I think you'll move forward victoriously, successfully, in emotionally balanced, long-term, emotionally fulfilling relationships. What's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn energy that they don't see coming? The Queen of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. Why? Because of the Page of Cups. Well, some shadowy people can always have people in their life that can be attracted to them, love them. And eventually the high vibe people in their life see the truth. They've been offering them love to try to get them to be more independent. I view the Nine of Pentacles kind of like this routine card, putting in the work and effort to move things forward, slow and steady, as Virgo energy. They've been to try to get them to be more independent. And eventually they see the truth and they move on. The Eight of Cups moves away from the Seven of Cups, which is kind of being caught up in illusion. That people will change, that they're more motivated by love than they really are. And people offer themselves that cup of love to become independent of them. I wish you peace. I have worked through all of the issues within myself about why I stay. I might be an emotionally nurturing, loving person. I like to help people, but I do want people to heal from what manipulates them. And I could have gotten in a relationship with you because in a lot of ways, we could have seemed like we were the same way. That we both like to play a loving, nurturing role in people's life. It's just that you don't really want people to free themselves from what manipulates them. And when they do, you try to manipulate them again in shadowy, immature ways of being to keep them in more shadowy, codependent energy. People who love me want me to be free of what manipulates me. They want me to be inspired to love and believe in myself. But you like to play that role in people's life, but then you want them to stay stuck. And you're not willing to change. And the other people are. And eventually people see the truth of it. And some people could have thought, well, I'm sure if I get in a relationship that's more stable, more grounded, more emotionally mature, I'm sure I'll change. I'm sure I'll give up my shadowy ways of being. And then they found out they weren't. So now they're no longer in denial of the truth. It kind of revealed the truth to them also, which they maybe wanted to stay in denial. Oh God, I guess I am not who I say I am. I guess I am maybe more about myself, or more prideful or egotistical or defensive or materialistic. Well, now they're no longer an illusion. They still might want to just stay in denial of the truth, but they've been shown the truth. And they'll probably keep repeating this pattern until they're willing to become more emotionally independent of loving their more worldly nature. And there'll be other people who want to be in a relationship with them, and this pattern could repeat itself over and over and over until they get in a relationship with someone who is more like them. I like being in a more codependent relationship. I'll either be more like the child and you be like the parent. I'm looking for someone like that. I think that will make me happy. And they just need to find people who are on the same page as them. Some higher vibe people realized, yeah, this isn't the relationship dynamic for me, but you go find who's right for you. I'll go find who's right for me. People who harness higher vibe, Capricorn, Cancer, and fire sign energy are more motivated and inspired by love. Other people who might be in their Capricorn, Pisces, fire sign energy might be still more motivated and caught up in the illusion of the world or other things, because high vibe energy is learning to love yourself. And some people, that can take 30, 40 years of your life to learn to get out of more codependent energy and love yourself. And they're going to go on their experience to learn those lessons, just like some of you did. So you kind of move on to the next phase of life, and they're going to be repeating an old pattern. So there you go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.